Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Alonso Q. I got this shit on my mind. It's been infuriating me. I did a video that didn't work. The mic didn't work, and I'm upset because it was a good video, I thought. Anyway, I'm gonna try to redo this. The thing is, man, I'm so emotional about this issue. I shouldn't even be talking about it, fucking free versing it. I should be writing this down. But the reality is, it's a spur of the moment thing. I got into a Twitter fight with Talib Kweli, and it's just been irking me. I need to talk about it. Here's the thing, man. He's one of these guys that thinks black people can't be racist. And so, he's not one of these guys who thinks that and then tries to live humbly. No, he's one of these guys who thinks that and uses it as a fucking shield for him to hide behind lobbing racist attacks at people. And it's disgusting. I can't handle that shit. And I'd heard about this a little bit earlier in the year because he was calling Sheriff Clark and some other black people coons because they disagree with him, and you know what, man, I can't stand that. When I see that in the news, it's like, okay, Talib's a piece of shit. I'm never gonna support that guy. But then he crosses another line, and this is what pulled me in because I follow Majid Nawaz on Twitter. He's a real brilliant guy. And he's working for human rights in the world. I can't respect him enough. And here is Talib Kweli on Twitter calling him a coon. He said, I don't know what the word is for a Muslim coon, but that's what the fuck you are, basically. And it's like, man, he has no shame. No shame. He acts like he has a black pass to throw racist insults at black people. But then he thinks his black pass extends to everybody else. He thinks he can call Majid Nawaz a coon. He thinks he can call me anti-black fucking racist. Well, fuck you, Talib Kweli. I called you out because you're calling people coons. Man, but none of his followers addressed that at all. My primary argument against him was, you're calling people coons. I have a problem with that because I was raised that that's racist to be calling people coons and to judge people based off of their skin instead of their ideas. And that's what they do. They just call fucking conservatives racist. And so what does he do? He goes through my Twitter and he picks out tweets he doesn't like and he starts saying, why do you hate people of color? Why are you a racist? Why do you beat your wife? Fucking Talib Kweli, you piece of shit, huh? Why do you do that? I'll wait for your answer. Why do you beat your wife, Talib Kweli? That's the reason that I hate people of color, you fuck. So anyway, this is that shit. He gets, like, I had a tweet, it said, there was a hashtag trending, don't judge me because, or something. And I said, don't judge me because I'm a Latino and I don't right away think all Republicans are racist boogeymen. And then so they hop out, they're like, but all Republicans are racist boogeymen. Oh! So they start judging me, even though the whole premise of the thing was don't judge me just because I don't judge Republicans. But they're so judgmental, they just can't help themselves but fucking dogpile on you when they think you're conservative. And I'm a libertarian, I don't consider myself a conservative, but to them I am, because I believe in capitalism and I believe in individual rights. So fuck it, I'll embrace it, I'm a conservative. But that doesn't mean I'm a racist. That was their whole argument, is you're a conservative, therefore you're a racist. You're a Latino, so you're therefore anti-black because you're light-skinned, so fuck you. Well, you know what? I am Latino, I am Hispanic, I am Spanish. Look at this, I am white, okay? I'm fucking Spanish. My people maybe did some shit in the past that isn't the best, the most honorable behavior. But so what, man? That's neither here nor there. I was raised in fucking 21st century America, man. I have a different, I grew up on Dead Prez, and fucking my heroes are people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Frederick Douglass and shit, man. That's what shapes my worldview, and my foundation is freedom and the struggle for freedom in America. And to have the fucking nerve to say that I'm racist, or I'm anti-black, or I hate people of color, when I am a fucking person of color. I'm white, look, I'll accept I'm white, but it doesn't mean I don't have indigenous fucking roots here. And what, I don't get a say because I'm lighter skinned than some other indigenous people, or because I embrace the white side of me as much as I embrace the other sides of me? Man, This shit's complicated, and you guys just try to fucking boil it down to you're a racist. That's your only argument, is you guys are racist, conservatives are racist. As soon as, that's why I don't even identify as conservative, because I know how you people think, and I know that, oh, conservatives are racist. It's a code word for racist. Who the fuck says? But if we call Democrats racist, if we criticize Democrats, then we're Uncle Toms, and we're Tio Tomases, and we're fucking coconuts, and we're fucking vendilos, malinches, and fucking coons, and house niggers, and all this fucking nasty shit. Get on YouTube and look at what they say about black conservatives in the comments, or what they say about Latino conservatives in the comments. And what the fuck is a race traitor? What the fuck is a vendilo? What do I owe to you? What do I owe to anybody? I don't know shit to anybody, man. Seriously. What the fuck do I owe to my race? Not a goddamn thing. If I want to embrace my culture and my heritage, what does that have to do with believing the same thing as everybody else, man? White people don't have to agree on everything, and they don't. There's some of the most diverse and different-minded people, but there's no white race traitors. I mean, the only people who accuse people of being white race traitors are these fucking alt-right white nationalist people who everybody is so scared of. But okay, so it's terribly racist and evil for a white nationalist to talk about white nationalism, but you can be a black nationalist or a fucking Chicano nationalist, and you can hate on white people, and you can call people race traitors. What the fuck? I don't believe in that shit. And let me tell you a little something. If you're Latino and you're watching this, and you're gonna call me a malinche, let me tell you a little something about malinche, you fucks. Malinche, if you don't know this, let me explain something to people, because I'm sure this is probably white people and black people watching this too. Malinche is a word people use to mean traitor. It's a name. It was a woman named Malinche. And people say that Malinche is the reason that Spaniards took on the indigenous people and were able to subdue them, because the Spaniards couldn't speak the language, and Malinche became an interpreter for Cortez, and that allowed them an advantage, because her working with the Spaniards allowed them to conquer. That's the story, and that's why people call you a Malinche if they think you're a race traitor, because they say Malinche betrayed the indigenous people and allowed the whites to conquer. Well, here's the thing that's not said about Malinche. Okay, she was a slave. She was taken as a slave by the Aztecs, because she lived, you might not know this, Aztecs were an empire, and they ruled communities around them in the periphery, and that's where they got their sacrifice victims from. They'd take them from the periphery, and that's where they'd take their slaves from. And Malinche was a slave. Now, she was sold. She was an Aztec slave who was sold to Mayans, or people in the Mayan area of Mexico. So she grew up as a slave that was sold as a slave. No, so she was captured, sold as a slave, and then the Spaniards got there, and those people sold them to the Spaniards as slaves. So she was twice sold as a slave from two different communities before she became part of the Spanish envoy, as a slave. Now, as a slave, she spoke two different dialects of indigenous languages. She spoke the Mayan tongue and the Aztec tongue, and I'm going to get the names wrong, so I'm not going to go there, because it's just a general point. She was sold twice into slavery by her own people, and then she gets attacked as the race traitor because she saw a benefit to herself in acting as a translator and working with the Spanish instead of against them. Instead of just shutting her mouth and being a slave and serving the needs of the white man however else they wanted, she decided to take control of her own destiny and become a translator, and one of the most powerful, important, revolutionary women in history, who accomplished amazing feats. Such a brilliant, ended up learning Spanish and becoming this trilingual, hugely powerful woman in a time when women didn't really have that much power in. And look, here's my point. it's nuance, man. Because Malintzin, she didn't just do it on her own with the Spanish. There were other people in those communities affected by the Aztecs who wanted to overthrow the Aztecs because the Aztecs were oppressing them. So it wasn't black and white. It wasn't red and white. It wasn't Spaniards versus Aztecs. It was Spaniards and their indigenous allies versus Aztecs. And why did they get allies? Because they saw something they could benefit from. And that happens all the time. People have their own ideas. People have their own opinions. People have the right to think for themselves without being called a fucking race traitor, without being called a coon. And I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this collectivist nonsense where I have to believe what you believe, or I'm not a real fucking Chicano, I'm not a real Latino if I don't do this XYZ, or whatever the fuck, man. You don't get to set the standards. I get to identify how I want to identify. I get to have the beliefs that I want to believe. And if I think you're wrong for calling people coons, I'm going to call you wrong for calling people coons. And if you're going to call me racist for that, then it shows who's right in the situation. And it's not fucking you, Talib Kweli. Anyway. Yeah. Just ranting. I didn't even really address the fucking situation the way I wanted to. I'm just pissed that people fucking do this. That people fucking do this and they believe it. They believe they're innocent. And then not only that, because he buys into it, his followers buy into it. There's no shame in these people to just call a random fucking guy on Twitter a racist, even though I never said anything racist. I never said anything anti-black. And if anything, I'm criticizing Talib Kweli's anti-blackness. Because he's judging black people because they don't fall in to how he thinks black people should fucking behave. God, I'll probably do another video on this that's more calm and collected. But fuck Talib Kweli, fuck black racists, fuck Chicano racists, fuck Latino racists, fuck white racists. Fuck all racists, man. I don't give a fuck about a racist. I'll defend their right to free speech, but I'm not going to defend their ideas, and I'm not going to defend your ideas when they're horse shit. So fuck Talib Kweli. Don't buy that motherfucker's music. Don't follow him on Twitter. Don't encourage him. This guy's a piece of shit, and he needs to learn that there's consequences to what he says, and he shouldn't be able to fucking slander hardworking, professional fucking people and refuse a debate of substance and ideas. He's just all about slander, all about identity politics. That's not going to get us anywhere. That's a dead-end road. I don't support it, and neither should you. Like, subscribe, tell me what you think. Let's solve this problem. Racism is an issue across the board. Don't buy the hype. Don't believe the hype. Fuck that. Talib Kweli, fuck you.